creating initial ICO is the part which I like the most actually.
Oh, interesting. So you're more into the financial aspect or monetary value of cryptocurrencies. You're interested in trading and understanding cryptocurrencies. Good, very good. Okay.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, actually.
Okay,
So that's
awesome. So you just want to start building ICOs and selling cryptocurrencies or ERC20 tokens similar to other cryptocurrencies. Good. So you got a pretty good
exactly.
idea. Yeah,
I don't want to create like it's more or less like so that in IntelliPath also there are coins which with the help of those coins one can purchase any other course, sir, actually. So like that, I just want to develop a platform where the coins will be the medium of exchange between people actually.
Awesome, good.
Yes.
Very interesting. Okay, Rohit. And also, how are you dealing with this COVID-19 situation?
I think things are like like uh, like unpredictable, sir, actually.
Yeah,
Actually,
crazy. Yeah.
completely it's not going as per we are
Nobody
thinking,
expected
like
it, right?
so
Yeah, unexpected. Nothing, we can never predict anything. One day you were sitting in your college just, chatting with your friends. The next day you have to, push them off and tell, don't come near me and all, right?
yes. So we are just getting used to the flow, actually.
Yeah, interesting. But let's see how it turns out. Hopefully, it turns out well. But in the meantime, we all need to just focus on what our aim and goal is. Nothing should stop
uh,
us.
yes. The time
Awesome.
shouldn't stop us for no other
Yeah,
reason,
it's
other
good you guys took the initiative to at least do something compared to people sitting and playing video games and definitely
yes, sir.
upskilling is one of the thing that needs to be done right now. Take your chances. All right, so let's move on to the next person. Nice meeting you, Rohit.
Sure, sir. Same
Yeah,
to you.
let's start. Yes, Yasoda, you want to introduce yourself? So you just need to give me your name, your location, and why you chose blockchain technology and how you're dealing with COVID-19 situation.
Yes, sir. I'm from Visakhapatnam actually.
Okay.
Uh, mm, I just saw this things in internet actually about the blockchain concept, all those things.
Okay.
I got interested and I would love to learn that. And actually, Rohit and me are friends from intermediate onwards.
Okay. Awesome.
Okay. Then Rohit and we both are just have a casual talk.
Okay.
And he also having the same interest on the blockchain, so we both plan to start a career in blockchain actually.
Okay. Very interesting.
Then we came across some analyst. Unexpectedly this COVID situation also.
Yeah. So
Yes,
sailing
sir.
in the same boat, right? Like your friend.
Yeah.
Interesting. So how are you dealing with the situation?
Actually, spending time with family is very good, sir. Actually, no, but
Yes, one
we are.
advantage, right? Few
Yeah.
advantages also. Yeah. But
But
company-wise,
there is a
people are getting
much
laid
distance
off.
between
Uh-huh.
distance between friends and all those stuff actually.
Yeah. So in one way, it's good. In one way, in a lot of way, it
Yeah.
has a lot of disadvantages also.
Sir.
Interesting. So you are also interested in learning more about blockchain technology. So you also have a little bit idea of what the technology is all about, and you're just looking to get a better.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
okay. Perfect. Nice meeting you, Sadato. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's go with Dhruti. I already got introduced to her, but we have a very good introduction, and we keep talking to each other from quite some time. She keeps asking me for some doubts, but then yeah, I think the others would like to know more about you, Dhruti.
Hello everyone, and hello sir.
Yeah, hi. So,
Like,
yeah, just the same questions.
yeah, say like out of the blue, everything is stopped and whole of the world is stopped and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But but it's nice being home and trying to learn something new is also important at this
Yeah. I see that. I mean, you keep asking me questions. I see that you're taking a
time.
good time to learn. Good for you.
Yeah, so that's what how we can pass them. It's like few days we'll be like bored, lazy, then after that we should do something.
Exactly.
Otherwise,
Yeah.
if we continue with the lazy routine, and it will be a big problem later.
Right. We need a break, but not this long, right?
Exactly. We'll forget our actual routine, like where what we
Seriously,
were
yeah.
doing, everything.
Yeah, the whole lifestyle changes and it's like the new thing. Yeah. What else, Shruti? So, you want to give an introduction as to what you do and why you chose blockchain?
So I'm Ruby. I'm currently pursuing my BTech 8th semester in CSE.
Mm-hmm.
And I chose blockchain because it's not like the usual trends that is going on. It is
Mm-hmm.
something that's going to be still in processing, and it is going to be developed in the further years.
Correct.
So it's something new now, and especially in India, it is old, but learning about it is new. So I like learning about it. That all this machine learning, everything is there,
Mm-hmm.
but what's not there that should be learned is what I think. So that's why I choose blockchain.
Perfect. Makes sense. All right. So, welcome
Yeah.
again.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, and let's move on to the next person. Yeah, Monisha, you wanna introduce yourself? I hope you got all the questions that we asked.
Yes, hi everyone. This is Monisha V. I'm still pursuing. Like the CEO of Invest had came to our college one day to give introduction or like spread the knowledge of blockchain. That that situation made me like to choose the blockchain and have that day I have researched like
Mm-hmm.
what is blockchain and what is about, so which made me like interesting. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I chose this blockchain.
Awesome, Monisha. I think you were also in the same batch, right? With Ruti. I mean, were you doing the weekend batch or?
Weekend batch.
Okay, yeah, okay. So, how are you dealing with the COVID-19 situation?
uh, I had made a poster like to tell how we can avoid COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting.
Then our college, like our classmates, we made a video uh, by telling sayings like how we can avoid COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Then spending with family makes happy,
Right, yeah.
but listening to online class makes me boring.
That's
So
true.
that's
Yeah.
that.
The thing is, I won't be looking at you guys, right? I don't know how many of you will be sleeping and all, but I'll be, hopefully you can, get something out of it. Finally, you should be able to build your own decentralized application. That's what I want from my end. So anyway, I'll be sending out the materials to you guys. Hopefully you can, go through all that. And it is a vast subject. It's going to be a very some terms might be a little difficult to understand in the beginning, but trust me, keep your focus on the technology. It's a very interesting topic to be in at the moment, and especially at right now, it's the perfect time to get in. I've been telling this to all my students, and you have no idea how the job openings are there for blockchain technicians. One of the sought after skills for huge companies. It's not just like small companies that are actually looking for blockchain technicians. Companies like Oracle, companies like IBM, companies like Accenture, they're paying very decent price packages for blockchain technicians. And all you need to do know is something that we're going to be learning, okay, about blockchain and Ethereum specifically. Also, we'll get a very good idea about how things work under, you know, in blockchain in general, distributed ledger technology. So, welcome again, everyone. So it's going to be an interesting session, and maybe just some of the classes will be, dragging a bit, but I'll try to make it as interesting as possible and interactive as possible. And we'll do a lot of practicals as well. So all that is in place. So I guess we have Ashwini and Sounder. Let's start with Ashwini. You want to introduce yourself? She's also one of my students, earlier students. Yeah.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Ashwini.
Hi, sir. Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Ashwini. I'm basically from Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
And I have done MCA in Belgium, and now I'm working as a web designer in Site Solution.
Okay.
It is in Basveshwar Nagar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
What else? Why did you choose
it.
blockchain?
Yes, it's a trending technology now, and it's a transparent, and there is no database.
Mm-hmm. I think you already have a good idea, right? Because you were
Yes.
so. Okay, so it'll be just like a revision, just at least like the first few classes. And how are you dealing with the COVID-19 situation?
Yeah, so I'm learning Swedish language and learning React.js also.
Okay.
It's going on well, sir.
Super cool. Yeah, guys, like Ashwini said, React.js is gonna be your front-end framework that you need to be very well with if you want to start building your own decentralized applications. So that is going to be our main focus, outside the class. So React.js itself is a huge topic. So while we're working on blockchain, you can start learning about React.js, some of the other important topics like a REST API, and all those are like the front end. And I hope everyone is familiar with JavaScript or any programming language, so that it'll be easier for you to start understanding Solidity and other programming works. So Solidity is a programming language to build decentralized applications in the Ethereum platform. All right. Yeah.
Can I know on which platform dApps are deployed actually or developed?
Yeah, there are a few platforms that you can deploy a decentralized application. So there is something called as EOS. Okay, that's one platform where you can build games and dApps. So we have even TRX. There's something called as TRX. But our focus will be mainly on Ethereum platform. So Ethereum is like the most advanced platform to build decentralized applications.
On Ethereum, Solidity itself is sufficient, no sir. So why again React.js?
Okay, React.js is to help you interact with the blockchain. Okay, so you need React.js experience to build the front end. So and also to build user interfaces for decent applications.
So using React.js, we would be developing an UI so that it would be interacting with Ethereum platform.
Exactly. You'll be talking to the blockchain using, So there's something called as Web3.js, which will help you, just a library kind of, you can talk to the Ethereum blockchain.
It is a kind of REST API.
Correct.
To interact. Fine.
Exactly. So React.js is just for the front end, interface.
Okay, fine, so far.
Awesome. Okay, Sounder, sorry. Yes, you're the only person left. You can introduce yourself. Sounder is also another person who is been contacting me and reaching out to me to learn about blockchain. I think he's some issues with mic. Sounder? Yeah. Your sound is really bad at the moment. What you can do is you can, I'll give you a special kind of option to do. You can start typing your introduction. Okay. In the meantime, I'll try to edit type your introduction. Just say that your name, where you're from, and why you chose blockchain. Okay. All right, so fantastic meeting different kind of professionals and very interesting people, and hopefully we can have by the end of the course you guys should be able to uh, take this knowledge and implement it, build different decentralized application, and make something out of yourself and for the others as well. I mean, in India itself there are very few blockchain technicians. We want to change that, and I'm also doing a lot of workshops. I've been going around South India doing quite a few workshops on blockchain and trying to make people familiar with the technology itself. So let's hope we can get something out of this and take it forward. Yeah, so before I proceed, let me introduce myself. I am Ramesh. I've got a total of 9 years work experience, worked with different companies like Converges, Accenture, Emphasis, and recently I worked with Unisys, worked as lifecycle management, but I was completely immersed in blockchain. I was very intrigued by what the technology can bring to the current world, and how you can use blockchain for almost any kind of industry, including the hospitalization, travel industry. Government can take advantage of blockchain, and they're already doing it. And so Ethereum was one platform that was that really got me interested in starting to build decentralized applications and working on different technical POCs for different companies as well. I built I'm actually working on a particular technical document for a company at the moment, and they have completely focused on blockchain, and they just needed some help with understanding how blockchain can be implemented. So there are quite a few job openings, job opportunities, and a lot of people who are willing to take up blockchain specialist at the moment. And just recently I joined Invest. I joined as a head blockchain trainer. I trained quite a few individuals on blockchain technology. And I've also in my spare time I try and build some applications on the platform, and also interact with different people who are developers outside India, and come up with different strategies and solutions to some of the blockchain solutions out there. So I'm working with another person. His name is Sam, and he's one of the developers for EOS. Okay, so there are quite a few opportunities, and the reason I'm still teaching is I want to just make sure that this particular technology is spread and everyone is aware of it and take advantage of it. And you guys are in at the right time. Very good opportunities out there, and salaries. If you're someone who's interested in working for blockchain specifically, you can look at a package of close to 30 to 40 lakhs if you're a very good blockchain specialist. But you might think it's a joke, but I'll tell you, go ahead and search in LinkedIn, and even there are some other portals, job portals. Initially they'll pay you at 12 lakhs to 18 lakhs for blockchain specialist. A lot of big companies. So yeah, because the very difficult to find blockchain technicians out there, and our company, when I was working with Invest itself, we were trying to hire as many blockchain specialists as possible, but we didn't have any, which is why they came up with Invest Labs to train people and then send them to companies who required blockchain specialists. So let me start off with what we're going to be learning. So today will be just an introduction session. Okay, I'm going to just give you an idea of how blockchain technology works, and we'll also do a few practicals. Basically, we're going to install an MetaMask wallet. Now, why do you need a wallet? I'll let you know why you need a wallet. Just imagine that's a bank, and you can start saving your tokens or Ethereum cryptocurrencies. I guess, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
All right, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and let you know what we'll be learning today. So by the end of this session, You'll be familiar with the basic concept of decentralized applications or a distributed ledger technology as a whole. Okay. Okay, so you'll be able to discuss the basic properties of and intent of centralized, decentralized currencies, and in depth you'll get a better understanding of the blockchain technology itself. So we'll look at transactions, we'll look at identity, we'll see what is consensus, we'll discuss some of the real world aspects of Ethereum or wallet mechanisms, smart contracts, transactions, etc. We're also going to talk a little bit of some basic properties of the implementation of blockchain. What are the use cases of blockchain, and we'll give a brief introduction of Hyperledger as well, which is the consortium blockchain, or blockchain for the enterprise world. So let me share my screen. Let me know once you're able to view the screen, guys. I hope everyone's able to view the screen.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll try and divide this course into two sections. So it will be level 1 and level 2, Ethereum developer level 1 and developer level 2. Okay, so it's going to be a month probably. I'm going to shorten the course actually. So it's not going to be a 2 months or a 3 months course. It'll be like 1 month and 15 days, or depending on how soon we can try and finish it up. And I'll be available for an hour and a half from today. We can try and extend the time a bit later, but right now we can start off with 6 p.m. If everyone's okay with this time, we can continue at the same time every day.
Yes, sir.
Okay, awesome. So we'll look at some of the concepts of decentralization, transparency, cryptography. What is public key cryptography? What is digital signatures? What is hashing algorithms? What are types of wallets? Consensus algorithms like mining. What is mining difficulty, nonce, and etc. We'll see what is proof of work, proof of concept. Proof of stake. We'll look at general structure of blockchain and what is double spending problem, smart contracts. You just get a basic idea of what smart contracts are. But all the fun is happening in smart contracts. Okay, that is a very useful technology at the moment, and it's a very you guys will be completely working on smart contracts. And we'll look at Ethereum, how Ethereum accounts work. We'll see what is Ethereum virtual machine. We'll look at different networks. We'll see what are ERC20 standards. Then we'll look at solidity. One more thing I want you guys to work on is solidity. It's going to be a bread and butter from initial day till the end. You're going to just start, it's like a programming language. I'll be teaching you, but it's going to be 50-50. So you're going to have to put in your effort as well. So solidity should be like a daily, learning thing for you. You guys need to just keep on understanding what are functions, how we can use modifiers, what are events, how we can use structs, enums, and etc. And we'll be building some projects as well. We have voting system and ICO development. So once the level 1 is done, I'll give you a couple of 3 days time to build your own projects. So it could be a voting system, or it could be something like an ICO. And we'll be, I'll definitely make sure that you guys are familiar with building the system itself and how you can. But initially, level 1, you can just build the smart contract part of it. So I'll give you an idea. And we'll also look at all the tools that are required for creating the decentralized application or creating smart contracts. That'll be level 1. And so level 2 will be prerequisites. I'll tell you, guys need to be familiar with HTML, CSS, JavaScript basics, and if you have C++, it's a good advantage. And if you're okay with Git repositories, even better. It's just like some of those requirements. You can that's not very useful, I mean, like compulsory thing, but it's better if you know these guys. And okay, so also we'll get to know the tools required to create smart contracts. You'll be able to read and write secure Solidity code, and better understanding benefits and disadvantages of the blockchain technologies. So we'll look at a lot of stuffs, and I'll also give you, over 100 questions related to blockchain if you're planning to attend an interview, based on blockchain platforms. If any companies hiring for blockchain consultant or technicians or developer, I'll let you know what sort of questions will arise so that you guys are more prepared for it. And you're always welcome to send me a message if you have any doubts or if you require any help. You can shoot out a message in WhatsApp, or you can even send out an email to me. I'll be happy to answer all your questions. Okay, any questions so far? Guys, any questions? All right, so let's start. Let's rock. So we'll start off with blockchain, basic understanding of what the blockchain is. What is dApps? Anyone can guess? I mean, is everyone aware of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies? I think most of them are, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think you should be familiar with the person who built Bitcoin, now the blockchain itself. 11 years back, a person called Satoshi Nakamoto came up with the concept of, blockchain. So why he came up with the concept? Why should like, unlike other people, just going with the flow? There are plenty of reasons. Okay, so if you remember, the Great Depression is when the Bitcoin blockchain white paper was actually thrown out. Thrown out in the sense, he published the white paper, and no one took a keen understanding, or it was an open source code, and there were very few people who saw that white paper, understood what how important that technology is, and started mining bitcoins. We'll just start off with some very simple thing. The price of Bitcoin, if you're interested, the current price of Bitcoin is close to 7 lakhs. When I started 4 years back, it was 20,000. And initially when Bitcoin started, it was just like, less than a couple of, $3 to $4. Okay, so if anyone is interested in buying cryptocurrencies, you should have bought it long time back. But there are quite a few cryptocurrencies out there, and Ethereum is also one very useful token that you can use for even like investing or anything if you're interested in that sort of stuff. So even I started like basically trading cryptocurrencies, which is when I started getting interested more into Ethereum and how useful it can be in the future. Now, when someone builds something, there should be a reason for building it. Now, Satoshi Nakamoto, he understood that the current banking system was out of order. I mean, he didn't like the centralized version of how, people are printing money. Now, if you noticed, even the COVID-19 situation, US is printing billions of dollars. But it's initially, it might be to, save the economy, but later on, it's going to affect the people itself, right? If you see, maybe it's just like a stimulus package, but it's going to create a huge downfall. And another situation is arising at the moment. If you notice, the economy is going very bad, not only for India but other countries around the world. So that's why Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto came up with the concept of blockchain. He wanted a system where people didn't have to depend on a third party or depend on a middleman. It didn't want anyone to deal with, he wanted people to directly deal with people. Okay, he wanted to be P2P. So he created what is called as the Bitcoin blockchain. He published the white paper. I'll show you how the white paper looks like. A white paper is nothing but a plan sort of as to what the technology does and how it works and everything. So we look at the Bitcoin white paper. Okay, guys. So this is the Bitcoin white paper. If you look at the introduction, it's Satoshi Nakamoto created this white paper, and nobody knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. Some of them say that it could be a collaborative, effort from different companies like Samsung and all those. Some of them say just like another random. So it's a pseudonym, and no one. It's been 11 years. No one is able to still figure out who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And the way he explains why he created the Bitcoin, a purely peer-to-peer version of electronic cash would allow online payments to be sent directly from one party to another without going through a financial institution. Digital signature provides part of the solution, but main benefits are lost if trusted third party is still required to prevent double spending. Then they propose a solution to double spending problem using peer-to-peer network. The network timestamp transaction by hashing them into an ongoing chain of hash-based proof of work, forming a record that cannot be changed without redoing the proof of work. The longest chain not only serves as a proof of sequence of events and witnesses, but also proof that it came from the largest pool of CPU powers. Some of them. Okay, as long as the majority of CPU power is controlled by nodes that are cooperating to attack the network, they'll generate the longest chain and outpace attackers. The network itself requires minimal structure, messages and broadcast and best effort basics, and nodes can leave region. The network will accepting the longest proof of work. Yeah, all this could be a little gibberish to you, but trust me, you'll exactly understand what every word means. At the moment, yeah, someone's asking me a question if Bitcoin is legal in India. It is at the moment, yeah. The legality is still being discussed, but at the moment it is, people are still buying and selling cryptocurrencies. If you notice, there's a website called WazirX. I'll send you the link if you require, if you are interested in trading. It's basically a platform where you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies. Okay, so you'll be able to see a lot of cryptocurrencies like there's a 22% increase in this particular token, OMG. And also if you go down, you'll be able to see Ethereum, you'll see Bitcoin. So yeah, this is an Indian platform where you can buy and sell cryptocurrencies. So initially there were some legality issues, but now it's been cleared and people are buying and selling. And the demand has become so high, even the price is going up. Okay. So that's the white paper. If you want to look at it, it's best if you guys have a copy of this and just look at how, everything works. Some might be a little bit confusing, but it's, if you look at the Ethereum yellow paper, you'll get mad. It's so technical. It's very, I think the guy who created it, I'll be looking at, we'll have a video as to how he explains Ethereum. So he's just 19 when he created Ethereum.
What is yellow paper actually?
Okay, yellow paper is more of a technical analysis. Okay, it's completely
Okay.
mathematics and all this, algorithms, which is very confusing. And only that guy is an alien. I'm pretty sure he's an alien and he can understand that. So people like us will not be able to understand. So yeah, I'll give you an idea as to what that yellow paper is. So we'll get to know. But he's the 19 man. He created the Ethereum platform, which is quite interesting actually.
Yes.
Okay, guys. So, and that's one of the reasons, Satoshi Nakamoto created the blockchain. And if you notice the current situation with the banks, you heard about high transaction fees. For example, if Chandler is trying to send Joey $100, he's going to get 98. The $2 is taken by the third party. $2 is very little, but imagine if all of us are spending the $2 for every transaction or anything. The bank is making all that money, but we're not getting it. So in JPM Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, they almost earned just like 6 billion just from ATM and overdraft fees in 2015. Also, they are known for crisis, crashes, depressions. And if you heard about the recession by numbers, you know how the housing price fell 31%, and the same situation is coming back now. And there's also an issue with double spending. So double spending is, if I've got $100, I should have a system which will make sure that I have that $100. And if I want to send it to somebody else, it should not, I can only send it to one person. If I'm sending $100 to one person, I should not have any balance in my account to be able to send it to the third person. So that is double spending issues. It's been going on for, I mean, just like online, you know how things work, right? Copy paste. You can create multiple copies of anything, but you can't do that with money. You shouldn't be able to do that with money. And Satoshi Nakamoto solved that issue using some algorithms and the structure of the blockchain itself. We'll get into that very soon. Okay, so let's see how a general system works. Okay, imagine now, I want to explain what is decentralized, distributed ledger technology. Now, if you go to a bank, right, when you say give money to the bank owns your money, it's going to hold it in your account, and it's not your money anymore. The bank can do anything with it, and the bank will have all the transaction details. Now, what is a ledger? A ledger is a list of transactions, incoming and outgoing transactions. Okay. Now, in a central system, the bank or any financial institute, they'll own the ledger. They'll have the copy of the ledger, and they'll be able to validate all the transactions. What Satoshi Nakamoto proposed was a distributed ledger technology. So the ledger is being distributed among all the nodes. Nodes are nothing but systems. Now you can be a miner, or I'm sorry, you can be part of the node, and I am the part of the node. Sounder could be a part of the node, and all of you guys, just imagine that you are all part of the block, the network. Now every one of you will have a copy of the ledger. Now if I'm sending Sounder some money, it's going to get updated in the ledger, and you know, all of you will have that copy, and it will automatically get updated in everyone's ledger. Okay, so there is a system which, once the transaction happens, it's distributed, and it's been recorded in all of your ledgers. Now we need some special people, okay, to be able to validate that transaction. Now, for example, if you look at the image on the screen, we have Paul, Robert, and Lisa, and James. Now, James is sending $100 to Steven, and once he sends that, it will get recorded in the ledger, and it will be distributed. It will just get broadcasted, and everyone will be able to view the transaction. And there are special people called miners who will validate the transaction. They'll say, yes, okay, James got that money, and he's sending it to Steven, and we got that, and we'll validate it, we'll update the ledger, and it'll be broadcasted to everyone else. So this solves the double spending problem as well. Now, if you take miners, right, the miners, miners are nobody but people who've got software and graphical cards to be able to generate bitcoins. Now, you should have a very interesting question as to how bitcoins are being generated. If you've been following, there are only 21 million bitcoins. Okay, there are no more bitcoins. It's only going to be 21. Yes. Recently, you must have heard about the halvening. Okay, basically the reward system. Okay, the miners are getting rewarded for validating the transaction, and they get rewarded in Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoins are generated by something called as proof of work. Now, the miners will make sure that they're validating the transaction, and they have graphical cards. Okay, initially it was easy to mine with your own laptop. You can start creating Bitcoins with your own laptop, but now it's become so difficult. You need like huge mining resources, or basically graphical cards to be able to mine cryptocurrencies. And I'll show you a photo as how the Chinese guys are mining Bitcoins at the moment.
So according to having, so the reward has been reduced like almost 50%.
Correct. And it happens every 4 years.
Yes, it happens every 4. So the reward now is, as of now, it is 6.25 BTC.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, around that, yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So the reason, the halvening happens is to, create some kind of stability in the system itself. So these are the mining rigs. If you can see my screen, those are the sort of mining rigs you need to start mining for Bitcoins, which is why you don't see anyone in India trying to mine Bitcoins, because the electricity bill will be like 10,000, and your mother will, bash your head. So that is like something very common. So people are, where the electricity is very cheap, people prefer to, start mining Bitcoins. And you must have heard about stories, people getting a lot of bitcoins by just mining, and yeah, people have lost a lot of bitcoins also by just throwing away some kind of old hard disk which had some digital currencies. And if you heard about stories, like there was one person who spent 5,000 for a pizza, 5,000 bitcoins for one pizza. So that was the first transaction. 5,000 is
Pizza
like,
Day,
yeah. So
So it's 10,000 bitcoins.
10,000 is it? Yeah. So you can imagine now one bitcoin is 7 lakhs. So you can imagine how much 10 bitcoins are. So 10,000 bitcoins are. All crazy things have happened. So yeah, you're already a billionaire. So yeah, there's a
Just a drip.
right? You don't need anything. You don't have to come to this course also. You can sit at home and crazy, man. So yeah, so that's like, these are the mining rigs in China. So that's what you need to be a miner to validate transactions, and you get paid in Bitcoin, which is like a win-win situation for the network and the people who are trying to make some sort of transactions. Now, if you see from anyone sending from a remittance, like for example, if you're having some person in USA trying to send you money, they'll have to spend at least like thousands of rupees to basically send you that money. But then if you have Bitcoin, or if you have some kind of cryptocurrencies, and if you heard the news, there was like one person who sent like for $4 or $6 million worth of Ethereum, and the transaction fees was like less than 20 rupees or 30 rupees. So that's another advantages of blockchain. There are a lot of disadvantages of blockchain, which I can say is scalability. Now, if you take Visa, they can process around 5,000 transactions per minute. But then Ethereum and Bitcoin, they can only process around 10 to 15 transactions, which is still, they have multiple solutions in place. So they have something called as plasma, they have something called as sharding, and etc., which will definitely improve the transaction speed. And Ethereum is on the right direction to increase that. And hopefully they'll have it done by this in a couple of months or this year. Okay, so Bitcoin concepts, the transaction happens in UTXO, which is nothing but unspent transaction output. It's when a transaction takes place, inputs are deleted and outputs are created as new unspent transaction outputs. This may then be consumed in future transactions. Let's look at how a block is getting added to the blockchain. Before we understand how the block is getting added, right? You need to understand cryptography and what is hash function and hashing. If you guys have a lesson in your college days, it should be cryptography. Cryptography is nothing but encryption. Okay, your crypt is encryption. And graph is writing, so just encrypted writing. Now if you have for example, A is trying to send B a message. Okay, he encrypts the message using a particular key, and B will be able to open that message using a special key. That's all is cryptography. In cryptography, we have symmetric and asymmetric. In symmetric cryptography, if A is trying to send a message to B, he'll have a key K1, and B will be able to open that message using K1. And if A is trying to send another message to C, the C will have K2 and A will have another K2. Basically, they'll be able to exchange those messages using those keys, which is tedious. I mean, if you notice, you'll start having a lot of keys when you start interacting with other people. That's why we have something called as asymmetric cryptography. Asymmetric cryptography is you'll have one private key, you'll have one public key. So A can encrypt using the public key, is messaging using the public key, and B will be able to unlock that message using his own private key. So you only have two keys, and one is like the public key, which you can show people, and the private key needs to be very private. You don't have, which you can unlock your messages using the private key. Why this is important, we'll be looking at it when we start looking at wallets and sending out transactions. So finally, why do we care about blockchain? Blockchain allows for trustless transaction between multiple parties, or more importantly, it allows transaction without the trust of third-party intermediaries. Some of the use cases of blockchain, it can be used in healthcare, finance, government, manufacturing, distribution. For example, supply chain management, delivery, travel and tourism. You've got voting. You can use smart contracts for voting. We look at some of those examples soon. So yeah, so blockchain is nothing but distributed ledger plus consensus. Consensus is nothing but people coming to an agreement. Now, if you remember, I told you miners are validating the transaction. Now, the miners are actually competing. Okay, so whoever solves that mathematical puzzle will get the Bitcoin. Okay, will get the reward of 6 Bitcoin at the moment. So that's why we have a lot of miners who are actually trying to compete with each other to solve a mathematical puzzle and validate a transaction and add it to the blockchain. That's what is consensus. So consensus is nothing but people coming to an agreement. Okay, this is a valid blockchain and it can be broadcasted to the rest of the nodes and we can all come to an understanding. So let's look at the flow diagram of blockchain. Someone's requests a transaction. The transaction is broadcasted to the P2P network. It's then validated by the miners. The network nodes validate the transaction. Once verified, the transaction becomes part of the new block in the ledger. The block is then added to the blockchain and you receive your cash. The first block is called as a genesis block. And anytime a block is being added, it becomes the blockchain. That's why you got the name as blockchain. All right, so let's look at how a blockchain structure looks like. Now, if you want to know why Bitcoin is very secure, it's because it's immutable. Immutable is nothing but you can't make changes. So anything written on the blockchain cannot be erased, cannot be deleted, cannot be modified. The reason being, now some of them say it's immutable, but it's not immutable. It is possible to make some changes in the blockchain. Now, for example, if James is sending 500 to Mark or something, you can change the transaction to, okay, I can change it to $600. If a hacker comes in or bad actor comes and tries to make the changes in the block, it is possible, but it's very expensive. Now, if you want to hack the blockchain or if you want to make any sort of changes in the block structure, you have to spend millions of dollars, or you need to be able to control 51% of the nodes. Now, if you're able to control 51% of the nodes, you'll be able to make some changes in the block or any sort of transaction or the hash, which is very, very expensive. You'll need like billions of dollars for it, instead of which you can use that money to mine and make more money than that. Okay, let's look at what a block contains. Now, a block, right, it'll have something called as the hash, the timestamp as to when the transaction happened. It will contain the hash of the previous block, and it will contain what is the Merkle root. Let's look at what is hash first. Hash function. Anyone is aware of hash function? You should learn in some of the cryptography classes you must have had. Okay, hash function is any function that can be used to map data of arbitrary size onto data of fixed size. Okay, so that's what is hash function. Now, if I put in hello, I'll get a hash. Now, if you have something called as a SHA-256 or the 5112, those are just algorithms. Okay, secure hash algorithms. The National Security Agency were the people who created this particular hashing algorithm. What it does is, now you have data of any size, like it can be your name, it can be the whole of the encyclopedia or the Wikipedia. You pass it on to this particular hash function like SHA-256 or 5112. You get an output of fixed length. In this case, it will be a 16-digit hash. Okay, so that's what is hash function. Let's look at a demo now. All right, so this is a blockchain demo. I'm going to show you how this hash function works. We're going to use the SHA-256 hash. Okay, I'm going to type in my name. I get a hash. If you notice down my hash, it has the last few digits as DEA. Now I'm going to just make some small change. Okay, I'm going to put in a full stop. If you notice, the hash completely changes. Right? Now I type in anything, I get a different hash for everything that I type. So if I even put in the whole of the encyclopedia into this particular data thing, I'll get a completely different hash. Okay, So which means that you try to make any kind of change in one particular block, you'll have, you get a very unique hash, and that is like no point. Let's look at the block. Now imagine this is a block, and what miners are basically trying to do is trying to get a unique value, which is called as a nonce. Nonce is short term for nonsense, but it's actually it is a valid term. But I told you that miners are trying to solve some mathematical puzzles, right? Just imagine this is the puzzle. They're trying to find a unique value, which will be unique hash, okay, which will have 4 zeros in the front, and they need to get a unique number like the nonce. Now I'm a attacker, come and make some sort of changes in this, okay, and my hash also changes. When I try mining, I'm actually looking for another hash which has 4 zeros in the front. That's something like what the miners are actually trying to do. So to mining, it's going to find something with 4 zeros in the front, and you get a completely different nonce. This is a blockchain. You have block 1, you have block 2, you will have block 3. Okay, it all has hash, it has like 4 zeros in the front. And now what, for example, if I'm a bad actor or an attacker, I go to the third block and I try making some changes like, okay, I'm sending $6,000 instead of $5,000 to Jim. So I say, okay, I'm sending for $5,000. I just make some sort of weird changes. Okay, if you notice, this particular hash completely changes. And this block will contain the hash of all the previous block. It will contain the hash of this block, and will also contain the Merkle tree. I'll tell you what the Merkle tree is. Now, if you notice, every other block turns red, which means all these becomes invalid blocks. Okay, so what that attacker has to do is he has to mine this block, and then he has to mine another block, which is going to be tedious, and he has to attack every system that has the blockchain. And if it's a distributed ledger technology, it'll even get worse because he has to completely change everyone's blockchain itself. So this is a distributed system, and you got the concept, right? Basically, it's almost not possible to, it's very tedious to basically make any changes in the blockchain. Now Merkle root, okay. Now I told you every block will contain a Merkle tree also. Merkle tree is something like, imagine transaction A, transaction B, transaction C, transaction D, okay. Yeah, got a question? All right, guys, so Merkle tree, just imagine we have some 4-5 transactions, okay. Now each transaction is converted into a hash, and in turn, those 2 hashes are converted into another hash, and in turn, they get converted into one single particular hash, which is called as a Merkle tree. So Merkle tree is binary hash tree. It's data structure used to efficiently summarize and verify the integrity of large sets of data. Now, this particular hash will contain all the hashes of the previous transaction and blocks and everything, which you'll be able to verify the detail using just one particular hash, and it will make the blockchain even smaller. So that's why we use a Merkle tree, a Merkle root, which will contain the transaction details of all the previous blocks. So that's basically what blockchain ledger technology, distributed ledger technology is. So blockchain uses private key cryptography to secure identities and hash function to make the blockchain immutable. P2P mechanics, the network helps in maintaining consistency of the distributed ledger, and the program gives blockchain its protocol based on the requirement. So these are the basic structure of blockchain. All right, guys. So now we'll just create a wallet. I'll help you create a wallet, and then we can be done for the day. I'll continue tomorrow. I'll just show you guys how you can create a wallet. So please go to the website metamask.com, metamask.io. So what I want you guys to do is download this wallet, and I'm gonna help you get some free ether. which is test ethers, which is not real ether. It's not going to do anything for you. But you can use it for development purpose. You can start building decentralized application, and you can use this test ether to make some sort of transactions and use it even for when you're creating decentralized applications, right? You have to pay the miners for performing any sort of action on the blockchain. So you'll get that free ether, which you can use it to do that for yourselves. So MetaMask, please go to the website and click on download. And you'll get an option to install MetaMask for Chrome. We'll uninstall mine. I'll reinstall so that you guys get an idea. So just an extension, okay? It's a wallet where you can store, receive, and send transactions. And this is an Ethereum wallet. So add to Chrome, add extension. Just take a couple of minutes for installing. Okay, so if you notice, you'll be able to see that particular icon on the right hand side of your browser. And you can click on get started. I hope everyone's following. Please stop me if I'm going too fast or if you need time. Is everyone able to follow?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, guys. So create a wallet. Go on, I agree. And create a password for yourselves. You'll be taken to this page, okay, which will show you the secret backup phrase. So it's a mnemonic phrase. This is nothing but a mnemonic phrase that you can use to. You shouldn't be showing this to everyone. So I'm showing you mine because I won't be using this wallet. So all you need to do is just make a backup of this somewhere. At the moment, I'm putting it on a notepad. Okay, and then click on next. You'll be taken to this page to confirm your secret backup phrase. All you need to do is just follow the same pattern. So first bunker crime first. Bunker crime. Web spread Seoul Airport. Okay, and also forum learning Bitcoin. Confirm. Once you do this, you'll be taken to a page which will say congratulations and you are all set. So your page will look like this. It's a MetaMask wallet. You'll have an account. This is something like your bank account number where you can give it to people. So this is basically a public key. You can share it with others and they'll be able to send some free ether or any kind of cryptocurrency depending on which platform you're on. So this one is Ethereum. So make sure one more thing you guys need to remember is don't give your Ethereum address for a Bitcoin transaction. You'll lose your Bitcoin or your ether that is being sent to you. So you copy this. And we're not going to be using the main network. Main network Ethereum will require real ether. So ether is the native token or cryptocurrencies for the Ethereum platform. We're going to use something called as a Robston test network, which will give us some free ether. Okay, so once you do this, click on deposit, change the network to Robston network, and click on deposit, and click on test faucet. It's just like a faucet which will give us some free ether. Okay, you can click on request for one ether from the faucet. Click on connect. All right, so I requested, I'll be able to see my transaction here. So this will let me know like how much ether was sent to my address, and it'll be pending. Anyone can tell me what's going on here? You see that it's taking some time for the transaction, right? It should be exactly 12 seconds.
Block is getting validated.
Exactly. So this is what the miners are doing. This is the job. Basically, they're validating the transaction, which is why it's taking 12 seconds exactly. Now it says success and my ether has reached my wallet. If I refresh my wallet, I'd be able to see that particular ether on my bank, in my account. So refresh, yeah, it's there. So you guys can do it a couple of times to get some free ether, and you can use it for testing purpose and everything. What you can do is you can try sending some ether back to, I'll use the Ropsten network itself for that ether. So if you go here, you'll be able to see the transaction from, you can copy this. So I'm going to send it back to the faucet. So I'll send, click on send, I'll search for the address. I'll put in the amount. I'm going to put in like 1 ether. It says insufficient fund because my wallet is still updating. I'll put 0.5, increase the speed and click on next. Confirm this transaction and it should go back to this wallet. Now I have 3. So you should have an idea as to how you can get some free ether for your testing purpose. So go ahead and try sending it back to the Ropsten network or whomever you want. But no, those are fake ethers. That it's not going to make any sense if you're trying to buy anything with this. I hope everyone's got this clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, super. So now you have some free ether. Play around with it and just see how, just get a feeler of things, how you can use that Ethereum. Right, so the mining transaction verified by miners after solving complex mathematical puzzle to maintain the ledger. Mathematical principle ensures that nodes automatically and continuously agree to the current state of the ledger and every transaction in it. If anyone attempts to corrupt a transaction, the nodes will not arrive at a consensus and hence will refuse to incorporate the transaction in the blockchain. There are 3 types of blockchain. One is the public blockchain, one is private blockchain, and consortium blockchain. Hyperledger is consortium, which means public is like anything like Ethereum and Bitcoin. They're all public. You'll be able to view all the transactions that has happened from the Genesis block to the current block. You'll be able to view any transaction, but you won't be able to view the person who sent you the transaction. Private blockchain is required for the enterprise world. Some of them prefer to have some secrets between companies. If you're giving a better offer to another company, they don't want that secret to be shared with others, so that they'll require the other company would get back stating, okay, you've given this company, you've given them a better deal than us. It's not fair and all that. So to prevent that, they have some sort of private blockchains. Consortium blockchain is like group of companies join together and they just kind of have one particular entity to take care of validating the transactions. That's what is a consortium blockchain. So blockchain in a nutshell, the use of mathematics to create secure distributed ledger which enables transaction without trust of third parties. Some of the use cases: banking systems. How can you use it in a banking system? The transaction fees can be reduced. Payment and transfer, it's quite feasible to be able to send a huge amount of money from one person to the other directly, no matter how far you are. In healthcare, your patient records, because the blockchain is immutable, you can't make any changes in the blockchain. You can store all the people's record on the healthcare system on the blockchain itself. So some of you must have heard about stories related people getting the wrong organ getting operated and etc. This can be prevented with having a valid data stored on the blockchain and getting the right copy. Law enforcement, people, criminal record can be stored on the blockchain. Voting, must have heard about voters fraud, not only here in India, but outside as well. That can be prevented by building a smart contract in a way that will not allow for a person who's already voted to vote again. So you can build a smart contract to prevent anyone from double voting and etc. IoT is a very interesting idea of how blockchain can be implemented in Internet of Things. And if you heard about IBM, they're working on a current protocol or a concept POC. What they plan to do is, if you heard about Amazon, they plan to have drones deliver items to your door. So IBM is coming up with an idea, concept of storing everything on the blockchain. So every time the package is being delivered or leaving the location, it will be stored on the blockchain. Every data is going to be entered in the blockchain, and that will prevent any kind of malicious activities that can be taken place. Also, music industry, heard about how managers get quite a bit of get half the deal when you're the song producer or music producer or music creator. You'll have to give the managers or the people who help you spread the word by giving them a huge commission, like 50 to 60%. You do all the work and they get the money. This can be prevented on the you can create a smart contract in such a way that the music goes directly to the fans, and they'll pay you. Real estate is another very interesting use of blockchain can be implemented. For example, if you have if a person has a grandfather who's got a property, wants to share it between two people, his son and his daughter, there are disputes. Disputes arise from everywhere, and they have this kind of things happening all over the world. So we can build a smart contract to in such a way that once the grandfather or the passes away, the property will be shared or equally, like 50%. The grandfather would go ahead and create reach a person who creates smart contracts and build a document in such a way that it cannot. The reason being, anything written on the blockchain cannot be erased or manipulated. So those are one of the use cases. And supply chain management is one of the main use cases at the moment. Decentralized financing. So quite a few use cases. Also, lack of transparency as product moves along with supply chain. So you'll be hearing me say smart contracts multiple times. I'll give you a better idea of what smart contracts in the next class. We'll understand how smart contracts work. What are smart contracts once we look into Ethereum. All right, guys. So that's basically it. So we saw wallets. How you can use the wallets. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start sending you some materials related to this course and a better understanding of the concepts of blockchain, because some of it cannot be covered in the class. We'll try covering as much as possible, but then I'll be sending you a lot of materials, and if you guys are in Bangalore anytime, I'll come there and I'll be giving you guys some pretty good videos also, like huge materials that you can make you much better developer when it comes to blockchain. All right, guys, any questions so far?
Yes, sir. So, as per my knowledge, Hyperledger comes under private blockchain now.
Okay, Hyperledger, it's not only private, it can be consortium also. There are private blockchains, but consortium in the sense they have one particular entity. Okay, they have another consensus algorithm which is called PBFT, practical Byzantine fault tolerance. So that is something that they follow. If you look at Bitcoin, it follows POW, proof of work consensus algorithm. So yeah, Hyperledger has different projects, and they have their own kind of solutions to it. Yeah, but they are private and consortium.
Yes, it was developed by IBM.
Yeah, IBM. Yeah, they created, I think,
Yes, they created
Hyperledger Fabrics, I guess. So we have
Hyperledger Fabric. Yes.
Yeah, Hyperledger
Fabric was. Yes.
So that's Hyperledger Sawtooth also. That was created by Intel, I guess. That is for the shipping industry. So yeah.
So what is the key role of blockchain in supply chain management?
Okay, supply chain
I
management.
didn't get that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Trust me, that's like one of the main use cases, and a lot of people are using it at the moment. So supply chain management, if you look at, for example, you must have heard about situations where you get transported the wrong material or fake materials, right? Now
Yes,
you
yes,
ordered a Nike shoe, and you get the fake Nike shoe. So
yes,
that
yes.
can be, you can have something like the blockchain in place for that. So you have some sensor or attached to the Nike shoe. I think it is already being used quite some time back. So that sensor basically sends information to the blockchain, and it gets recorded there. So anything like what materials were being used gets recorded on the blockchain. What kind of when it was being created, when it was in manufactured, and when it started moving to the next stage, or when it's being shipped, right? That gets recorded on the blockchain. So all that. Similarly,
Okay,
you can
okay.
have like shipping, even your basic milk you get from the store, right? You heard about getting adulterated milk. They water it down. Even that can be
Yes,
prevented
yes.
on, by having something like this blockchain in place to record all that. So yeah, can be used in
Okay.
every case.
Oh,
All right, guys. Any more questions? All right. Hope this session was interesting. It was nice meeting you all. Very, very, talented set of people, and hopefully we can all, get something out of it. I'll be happy to answer any questions. You can just shoot out an email. I'll be sending you some materials shortly. I'll go through them and keep going through Solidity, guys. That's going to be something to focus on throughout the course, and we'll try to finish it as soon as possible, and start working on projects. Okay. Right. I'm
okay. So
stopping.
can we?
Yeah.
So can we get the PPT if
Yeah.
possible?
I'll be giving out the PPT as well. So I'll be sharing everything that I have so that you guys can take advantage of the whole course.
Okay.
Thank you.
So whom can we follow for the Solidity programming? Like a
Solidity
good.
programming, I'll be giving you the document anyway. Okay, that is like a full Solidity, um, what do you call it? Just one second. Okay, in-depth knowledge about Solidity. It's just like a document that has everything to do with the programming part of blockchain. So I'll send you that. But Solidity, it's just going to be like a daily activity. But you can't just look at that and learn anything. We're going to be building projects on,
Yes.
online IDE. It's an online IDE called Remix, where we'll be building some applications or smart contracts. So that will
Yes.
get you a
Yes.
better understanding of it. But if you keep looking at Solidity every day, right, you'll get better at it. It's like any language for that matter. You have to just keep practicing. Only then you get better, right? So that's why I'll be giving you those
Yes.
documents. But yeah, you'll get all those
Okay.
materials. Okay.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, guys. Have a good evening, and thanks again for joining the call. Talk to you soon. So tomorrow, same time, we can continue the class. Sunday, I'm not sure if I'll be available, but I guess I'll be available 5 days a week. So you guys can let me know if you'll be available, and then we can continue with the classes.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All the best, guys.
Thank you.
Talk to you soon. Take care.